Most of my clients come to me in one or two camps. Either they know that they're going to experience a new phase of growth and they want to prepare, which is kind of rare to find someone that proactive. More likely than not, they're in the second camp, which is recognizing that they are completely buried in work and that how they're working is completely unsustainable and something has to change. It's not uncommon for prospective clients to come to me and tell me that they are having health issues, to tell me that they're missing some really great quality family time, or to just share some other way that their personal life is being affected by a crazy work schedule and that they're working 80 to 100 plus hours a week. And I know that is so difficult to be in that position. I hold so much space and compassion for that. I also push them to recognize that there are some things that they're doing that contributed to them being in that position and have also kept them in that position. Even though they're now asking for help, which is a great and also really hard step to recognize that you need help and to actually ask for it. Even though that they're asking for help, there's some other things that have to change in how they're working for them to really get an ROI and experience the great things that can happen when you have the support and structure that you need. One of the first mindset shifts that need to happen when pulling yourself out of this ditch, pulling yourself out of the weeds and really accepting help is recognizing that sanity in your business and sustainable growth for your business does not come from hustling harder. It will come from setting boundaries on your work. I recognize that boundaries can sometimes feel like some fluffy, new age jargon. And so let me simplify it here and explain that boundaries are really just saying what is and what is not acceptable. Sometimes it can be a line in the sand where it's simply a preference, and hey, that preference can shift based on the circumstances. Sometimes it needs to be written in stone. More often than not, it ends up always being that line in the sand for you that gets washed over, shit on, and erased all day, every day. And so you have no sense of structure and no sense of, okay, how should I really be operating in the business as the CEO? And sometimes you're in this position because there has been some kind of driving fear. So maybe it's fear of losing a big project or losing that client. Maybe it's your ego or pride driving that says like you need to be involved in this. If you're not involved, things are going to go sideways. It's going to go wrong. And so those fears are really holding you back. Maybe in the beginning, in like the first few months or first year of your business, it was helpful. But as you grow, it gets increasingly harder to maintain that level of involvement in the business by evidence of your super long, stressful, exhausting work week. So when you can accept, okay, I need to stop hustling this hard. I can still have a great work ethic. I can still grow the business and have these really big, ambitious goals, but I need to do so with some boundaries in place. That's when things are really going to start to shift for you and you can really sit in that CEO seat. When that shift starts to happen, what you'll realize is that, yes, as the owner of the business, you're ultimately accountable for everything, right? So you should be ready to jump in where needed, whether it's a fire happening in the field, whether it's some drama happening with your team or some client, like you should be ready to jump in, but you shouldn't have to. That's made possible by setting the boundary of saying, okay, here's where I want to be involved in the business based off of your vision for what you want your team to experience as being a part of the business, what you want your clients to experience by going through a project with you. Based on that vision, you can then say, okay, here's how I want to be responsible for executing on this vision. Here's where I want to be engaged in the business as we grow. And I dive a little bit more into this in another quick cast episode for 3 steps to start delegating smarter and to stop being a bottleneck in your business. I dive a little bit more into how to really understand that vision, understand your job description in that quick cast. But when you can get that down, then what will start to happen is you'll start to have bench depth in your team and their ability to problem solve, to think critically, to really step up as leaders and have some accountability as a team member, you'll also start to develop some stronger processes where it's less likely for fires to happen. And if they do happen, hey, we've got that bench depth. And on top of that, you're building more respect with your clients. You're building healthier communication with your clients, which is actually going to make it more likely that they'll have a positive experience with you. So yeah, you might think like, hey, responding to every client need with this high level of urgency is helping your clients, but it's actually not. It's not building you guys up as, hey, we're partners that are going to have a great project together. It's, hey, they're kind of being the overlords and you're being the doormat there. Okay, so you want to put yourself on equal terms, and having boundaries in place and that healthy communication is going to help you get there with your client. Your sanity is never going to come from hitting a bigger revenue goal if you're still over involved and holding it all together with the business. It's going to come from drawing a line and sticking to it, recognizing when that line can be pushed and when you really need to hold firm to it. If you don't do that, your business is never going to grow past your crazy work schedule. So I would recommend go check out that quick cast with the 3-part strategy to delegating smarter to stop being the bottleneck. Really think through what the vision for your business is and what your vision for your role in the business is. And then maybe also, hey, what's one thing, what's one line or boundary that you've completely ignored and have erased recently? And how can you change that for when that issue or fire happens again?